the more I realize it has nothing to do with me, but everything to do with God's glory, it makes me less scared to take that next step, whatever that is. Our story at VAUSA really started from my family story. I grew up in a military family and swore up and down I would never marry anyone in the military, and God laughed at my plans, as always, I feel like. And I met my husband, Brett, and he was active duty as an Army Ranger. And through the first 5 years of our marriage, we had 2 children, and I was an elementary school teacher. During that time span, he deployed multiple times. There were always combat deployments, and we were on this constant cycle of him being home for a few months and then either gone training or overseas. I started to feel some of the effects of burnout of essentially acting as a single mother, holding down the fort. And then my 5th year of teaching, I really knew that God was starting to push me out of the classroom, but I really didn't know what that meant and what that looked like. My room mom was working as a virtual assistant, but she was always present. She was always present for anything that we needed in the classroom. She volunteered all the time, and I just thought, how are you doing this? And so I decided to try it in between school years, and that summer it changed everything. It was like a weight was lifted from our home. My stress level dropped dramatically, and I was able to be more present as a mother, more present as a wife, and be able to just balance all the stresses that military life threw at us. That gift that I was given, the ability to work from home, and the problems that I was having wasn't just a Mary Lane problem or a Baker family problem. God started putting all these puzzle pieces together. If I gave you this gift of teaching, and you can use this gift no matter where you're placed. And right now, I'm going to place you to serve the very people that you are, the very same issues and suffering that you are going through. That's who I want you to teach. And so that's where the idea of this business of creating these job opportunities and teaching other people just like me, just like my family, on how to do this and showing them what was possible. I am Mary Lane Baker, and I am a co-founder and integrator at VAUSA. So I do all of the operations in the company.
And I'm Brett Baker, co-founder and visionary at VAUSA, and my job is new ideas and big relationships.
When people ask us, what do we do? Part of me thinks, oh, well, we're a virtual assistant company. Or think of us as recruiting and staffing. But that's just, I would say, the vessel to do what we actually do. I would say that's how we're able to do what we actually do here. As our business started to grow, I realized we have to come up with better solutions to care for our people. And what does that look like, practically speaking?
Very quickly, God put it on our hearts that I blessed you so that you can go bless others. And we started looking around and we realized that this wasn't a Baker problem. This was a problem for all military families. And even today, the military spouse unemployment rate sits around 21%. So there's this massive need for jobs, and their biggest impediment to maintaining employment is, on average, about every 3 years, they're moving to a new location and they're starting families. And so there's all of these obstacles preventing them from maintaining steady employment. And God just kind of put it on our hearts like, hey, this is a solution to the problem that your people right around you are facing. Yeah. And that's when we decided in 2017, we're going to launch the business. And we called her best friend, another Ranger wife, and she was the beginning. We said, hey, come here, we're going to teach you what Mary Lane's doing. We gave her a client. We went and found another military spouse. We went and found another client, and God just started building this around us. A common story that we hear is, hey, I just moved to Fort Drum, New York. I have 2 young kids. My husband's gone for 6 months. There are no jobs here, and I don't know a single person. How do we build community for people who are feeling isolated, but they're in a remote environment? And as far as we could tell, no one had really done that much. There was no books on that yet.
Yeah.
And still to this day, it's kind of the Wild West. It's like, how do I build culture and community with people in a remote environment? My answer to you is, you start trying.
We call it the Freedom Framework. And what that is it's a matrix that covers areas of family, faith, finance, fitness, and fun. We look at those areas as these are very important components of our life that if gone unchecked or if it gets out of whack or unhealthy, then it can impact you as how you show up for your family in an everyday life. So we started creating resources for each one of those components. If you see our Freedom Framework, you could get overwhelmed by seeing all of these things that we do, but I just want to tell you, we're not some huge business with a massive profit. And I think a lot of people would say that's nice for you because you can do that. You have these resources, you have this, you have that, and that could be further from the truth.
It's identifying what are the problems you're facing in your company. So for us, financial stress is one of the biggest issues that military families face. It's one of the #1 causes of divorce in America. So we found a company that does one-on-one financial coaching with couples. They're a third party. We pay them, and they will do everything from budgeting all the way up to estate planning. We know that marriages are failing at a very high rate in the military. So we offer a scholarship for marriage retreats. And it's amazing what can be done if a couple just spends 1 weekend a year, very devoted on their marriage, surrounded by like-minded people. We opened up couples Bible studies. It doesn't cost any money to run a couples Bible study because we know that if we invest in the marriage, then we will prevent all of the things we hear in the veteran community that are going on if we can keep those marriages together. And there's all of these different ideas, and yours may be different than ours. We try to identify our problems, and a lot of them don't cost that much money. And so don't think that you're not a big enough company. We're a $1.5 million company. We are micro. But that doesn't mean that we can't have a huge impact. We just have to be more creative in the ways that we are trying to do these ministry efforts and pour into people.
If you start with just one person, that's gonna catch fire. Just watch. You give one person that authority and that ability to do that, it will infect your whole company. It will start it happening, and you'll have someone else in your company say, hey, I want to volunteer to lead a Bible study. That happened. I want to volunteer to lead a Bible study. And you just have to have the courage to say yes. There are going to be some things you got to figure out as a leader. That's okay. That's your job. But there are people called to do things that you may not be called to do, but you have the power to say yes or no. And you have the power to just open the door and give them the opportunity to speak up and say, I have this idea, I have this gift, I have this talent. Can I use it to bless other people in the company?
And once we started down that path, we would do something and people would respond well to it. And we thought we were having a positive impact. It was like, I want to do more of that. How are we going to pour into the family? How are we going to pour into the spouse? And like she said, some of these things fail, but if you track and measure, which you should be, you should have a scorecard for these things like everything else in your business. When we brought chaplaincy in, we were like, well, how do we help with a mental health crisis? And our chaplain's not just there to run devotionals and preach at people. She is there to walk through the storms of life with people. When you're going through those parenting challenges, those relationship challenges, she's that wise mentor for you. And when we saw the impact it was having, it was like, all right, we need more God in here. We're just going to keep infusing. And it went from let's support them to then it started becoming more of how are we going to pour into their faith? How are we going to disciple people? And the biggest catalyst was chaplaincy.
I think it trickles down to the employees, and the employees see that it starts with them, and then it goes to their leadership. And the kindness and the warmth that people feel, they're open to being able to have conversations that normally don't happen in workplaces. And I think that is very important. Hi, my name is Tracy Burns. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm a chaplain with Corporate Chaplains of America. I have 15 companies, and I have about 800 people. I love all my companies. They're fantastic. I've been matched with some of the most incredible people. But when I think about VAUSA, it's a little different. It starts at the top with how they have a model for their business. It has a mission statement. The company has a vision statement. It starts with the CEO and the COO of the company, their leadership team. They are intentional in how they set up the company, and it impacts lives for eternity. It's not just verbiage that they do, it's an act that follows. And I think that's what's different. And that is so unique in business. It's not like what a normal CEO or COO would do. They really care about their people, not just what their productivity is, but they care about their lives and how they can be Jesus to people. And if you don't think that makes a difference, it makes a huge difference.
I think your ability to change lives starts with whatever God has given you right now. And I mean, there's scripture to back this, right? God's going to give you this much, and he's going to see, how do you handle this? What do you do with this before he hands you, twice as much or 3 times as much?
And we fulfill one need and we would see the effect of it, right? So it started to grow. It was like one idea we would have and we would implement, and then it started growing and growing. But a lot of that came down to figuring out, hey, we need an actual outreach team. We need to bring people on that this is what they do, because nobody else can do what Mary Elaine does in the business. Nobody. And we need her focused on being the integrator, not being the integrator and trying to love on people as it was growing. And I think that's a big hang up for a lot of business owners. They feel like it's got to be me who does it. And for us, what we believe is we will build the processes and systems and we find the right person. And then that person, your job is just to love on people. And a lot of people are very excited about, I get to come to work and just love on people, just have great conversations and check in on them and buy them gifts. And it really, and I don't remember when Mary Elaine thought of that, but it was brilliant, and that's what allowed us to scale our caring, our ministry efforts as they continue to grow.
I really feel like the Lord has taught me and showed me through VAUSA and the people that I'm around that your ministry and your mission field is with you every day, whether that's in your home, the grocery store, where you work, your business, it's right there in front of you. I always thought that I had to travel around the world to make this big impact, and I don't. I make it every day. I have conversations with individuals every single day about their faith, their salvation, what they're doing that's new to them, what they're learning, what life is like. And it is the most impactful I've ever been in my life. I felt like my purpose was just being a mother or being a wife. I didn't feel like there was anything that fulfilled me as an individual. And VAUSA taught me that I can take my God-given gifts, use them in many different ways to serve other people. That gives me a purpose and make big impacts.
I would say to any business owner who is, trying to figure out, how do I love on my people? How do I care for them? Like, how can I use my business in this way? I would say, the people that you're seeing every single day, are your mission field. And I firmly believe in going out into the world and helping those who can't help themselves. But I think a lot of times we do miss the people that are right in front of us. This has changed my whole life just because 2 people cared about me and my family and my kids. And that could do the same thing for other people.
If you can just use the tools that God has given you to reach people and to try to connect with them and have them open up more, like she said, you can just make such a bigger impact than what you think you're capable of doing. And that's what they've done with us in so many ways.
God has given us the responsibility to create tables or create think of opportunities, create the rooms for people to gather. Because if isolation is one of the major problems and one of the tactics of the enemy, then how can we create opportunities for people to come together over something common, something they have in common?
It's about Jesus. It's about how he can come and change lives. It's how he can impact and make a difference. And it's about offering eternity to the employees. We're just a vessel. We're an ambassador called to do the work of the Great Commission. And that is what they've done well.
I have grown more spiritually, mentally, emotionally, in my marriage, financially, in the last 4.5 years than I ever had before. And it's because the people I'm around pour into me every day, every day. I tell people all the time, my desk has heard and seen many more prayers than a church pew ever have or will, every single day. And it is something that, I do a devotion each morning with my boys, and I say, Lord, help me be the leader that you need me to be. Give me wisdom, discernment. Help me to help our people grow and walk in their professional, personal, and faith lives. It's not anything I feel like that you can separate out. If you really want to live out your faith and make a big impact, you have to bring it together.
Yeah, the job is the vehicle to get them through the door. It doesn't matter what your service is, what your product is, business to business, business to consumer. We are all stewards of human beings as business leaders. And God has given us this phenomenal opportunity where people have to show up every day. Every single day, they are under our care. And what we believe is when we stand before God at the Bema seat, He is not going to ask me about my P&L. Now, God wants us to run an excellent business. He wants us to provide an excellent service and great processes and all of the things. He wants us to do things with excellence. He's not going to ask her, tell me about that process for how you do payroll. Tell me about your P&L in 2022. We believe God is going to look at us and say, how did you steward the human beings that I put in your path? And that is what it is all about. It doesn't matter what your business is. If it's got people in it, then your job as a business leader is to love and provide opportunities for those people to flourish. And that is the great gift of this. And when that light bulb comes on, it's like, all businesses are like this. It doesn't matter. We can go start a restaurant. We have all of these ideas. But the core of it always is going to be, we are going to use this as an opportunity to help people flourish and ultimately point them back at their Creator. And you can do that in any setting.
He gave me just enough every day to help me grow incrementally in my faith. And I'm so grateful for that. So talking about this and reflecting back, it makes me emotional because I know now He was preparing me bit by bit for what we have today. And it makes me so excited to see or to think what's going to happen in 5 years from now and in 10 years from now. I don't know. And that used to scare me, but now I'm excited